Hey friends and crafters, I have a really cool one for you. I guess I always say that, but hey, this is really cool. Today we're going to do like a hanging lantern, and this is going to be really fun. It can really give a cool effect in your dungeons and your tilescapes. You don't have to use it for tilescapes, you could use it for anything. But it's a fun little craft, pretty easy to do, that you can use to give some illumination to your dungeons. You know, I've been really getting into the LED and that kind of thing. And so this is a continuation of that. But before you go to the table, I want to say hello to Cora Briscoe. She's a very young fan of mine, and she watches all my vids, and I just want to say hi to her. Keep crafting and keep dreaming, Cora. Alright friends, I'm going to use a bamboo fork for this craft, alright, and I'll cut the bottom off here, those little round pieces on the bottom there, and then I'm going to cut most of the fork off, and then where the fork meets the rest of the body, I'm going to cut that off. Then I'm going to trim a matchstick at a 45-degree angle. I'm just going to kind of guess it, and I'm going to put this together with white glue. I could do a hot glue, but I didn't want the glue all squirting all over the place, so it'd just be easier to use the white glue. Leaves much less of a footprint when it dries, right? Okay, so I'll let that dry up. That is set up, and I'm going to put a little bit more glue on here on the joints, and this will just help reinforce where I put this together. So just give it some extra strength. So there we go. Just use a toothpick and blend that in. Don't want to have the globs dry. Dries fairly flat. Now I'm going to use these submersible wedding lights. And these are smaller than tea lights. I'm going to use the yellow light for the lantern itself. So you can get these anywhere online. And to make the paint stick better to this thing and everything else, I'm going to sand it up. But I'm not sanding the light part, just the body itself. So just around the light and the bottom part of the body. Okay, so it's sanded and ready to go. Now I'm going to cover that light with a piece of tape, and when I black bomb this, I don't want to paint the light part, right? So I'm going to cover that up first. Okay, so I'll just put that tape on there. Now I'll start assembling this. I'm going to use some goop and goop my overhang here to the light, and I'm just doing the first layer because it twists and turns on, and I'm just doing the first layer. I don't want to glue it to the bottom layer because then it won't twist, right? Now I'm going to use some thin cardstock and do a kind of a loop here. And I'm going to use a chain and a link and put the cardstock on the link there. I wanted to give a close-up to show what I did. And then I'm putting it on top of the bracket I made, and I'm just using a rhinestone to make it look like a bolt is holding that on. So now I've black bombed it, and it's coming along really nicely there. There we go. So here it is with the light on. So you can see that the tape really protected the light, and we've got the whole light source there. Now I'm going to paint this thing, and it's going to be like it's on a pedestal of stone. You could even do wood if you wanted. So I'm just going to do the sponge technique with the damp sponge and the gray. So I'll just make that look like a pedestal of stone. And careful you don't get it on the light. If you do, you can wipe it off. Then I'm going to use a small sponge and highlight some gray on there. So I like to do a little lighter gray that gives it highlights, not just one flat gray. There we go, nice, looking good. Okay, now I'm going to use my burnt umber, and this will paint the arm there over the light, so it looks like the lantern is hanging. That was kind of the idea of this, to make it look like the lantern is hanging. So I'll paint that up. And then we'll let that dry. Now I'm going to use a lighter brown. You could really use whatever you want, and just kind of paint on it. Get some lighter areas on that really dark brown there. Really coming to life here. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to use these jewelry caps and these beads to make a little cap that will go on top of the lantern. So here I've made it, and I've black bombed it. And I'm going to actually glue it to the light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it to the top of the light with my goop. and then I'll just break off the links of the chain to the right length and then glue it in that holder at the top of the lantern. So here's a picture of what I did. I also painted the chain and the top of the lantern with a gunmetal because it was black, and that gave me my lantern. So let's go to the table and look at these in play. So there we go, guys. I want to give you a couple ideas of what these look like in the dark there. So here we go. Here's our hanging lantern. And of course, it's not really hanging. It's on that base. But I think it really gives that kind of effect. The light is really great. It has that yellow light. Just the little bits and pieces we use. Not really expensive to make, but a really spectacular effect, I think, at the table. So I'm really, really happy with these, and I hope you guys have fun making them. So there we go, some great hanging lanterns for your tilescapes or other projects. Hey Crafter, I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, give your DM Scotty a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And you can find me on Facebook. We got a great group on there, lots of projects. Also, if you like the vid, why not drop $1 in the tip jar? You can just click on the video and tip directly to DM Scotty. And if you want to participate further, you can join Patreon and get the Crafters Lair every month. It's a magazine I produce for my Patreon friends. And I want to say, last but not least, go forth and craft. Yeah, have fun crafting, guys. Caw!